Just a quick disclaimer, I want to show you all three ACOGs and the advantages and disadvantages of using them. And as you can tell, the old ACOG, which is I think ACOG B, is so freaking big. So you might want to not use that ACOG. The Russian and 1.5 style scope is a smaller scope all around. So technically you won't get perspective, or it won't be blocking off enemies swinging on your screen. I just want to let you guys know that before we get into the video. Okay, so let's talk about basic perspective. So if you look at the thumbnail, and that's probably why you clicked, when it comes down to perspective, there's a lot of things you have to know. For example, I'm Doc right now, right? So I'm holding this angle, and what I see, this is what a lot of players do. They will hold these super wide angles with their ACOG, and what they do is they assume that someone's going to swing so freaking wide, but since the game is slowed down so much, there should be no point in why you're holding a wide angle like this while aiming wide. Also, leaning goes into this a huge play, but I'll explain that in a little bit. So instead of holding a wide angle like this on a door frame, you should be holding, let's say, instead of this, you should be holding close on the door frame. So if they swing wide, at least you can track them and maybe pick them off, instead of having to flick to the right and then try to get that frag instantly, right? And at the same time, if you're holding an angle like this, this is inherently wrong. Now, let me explain. If you look on Amaru's screen right now, you're actually able to see Doc's body and possibly his head. So instead of Amaru swinging wide, she can literally creep up and shoot him in the head right here. And Doc wouldn't even known. So a better angle, if you're going to be holding a passive angle, like for example for this guitar, you want to be holding on the door frame like this, and you want to be farther back. Now, of course, the reason for this is because when Amaru comes through guitar, it's a way more even gunfight. No matter if she's long or close. No matter what, it's a 50-50 gunfight, and you're putting yourself at more of an advantage here, of course. Now, for example, if you crouch and you're holding a way more passive angle, like let's say farther in front of the bookshelf, if Amaru pushes up, she has to clear so many different angles. For example, her tucked right, she has to worry about. Sorry, I just flicked because I'm on two different mice. She has to worry about tucked right. She has to worry about DJ, and even if she like quickly peeks, at least Doc has that information to back up and reposition and have Amaru, let's say, pre-fire that, and then her barrel and gun is going to be blocked just by Doc because last scene, or she's going to track, and at least you're taking more 50-50 gunfights. What a 50-50 gunfight basically means is you have an equal chance. That's all it means. So stop holding very close angles like that, unless, once again, when it comes to perspective, there's a whole different purpose for everything. So let's say Amaru was, let's say, this big window. She's holding a pixel peek. Now, this is one of the times that you're actually going to want to be holding close, because as you can tell on Doc's screen, I'm able to have like basically her entire head right here. And on Amaru's screen, she can see me, but I feel like Doc has the way better advantage here. But let's say Doc was going to flank and he was holding wide. So as you can tell, he's leaning to the left. And people don't know this, but where your like the cam is and perspective is on the tip in between your eyes. So let's say Doc's fat body is leaning to the left. He is going to get perspective here. As you can tell, I don't even see Amaru at all because I'm peeking this door frame and I'm leaning to the left. But guess what? She can see me entirely. I just got hit. I can't see anything. So in this circumstance, if I'm going to flank and I know guitar is clear, I'm of course just going to bob in and out, try to retreat close, and then I'm going to quick peek. Because quick peeking here on a close angle gives me a way better advantage to actually be able to see Amaru, as long as I don't overexpose my body, because if I swing way too wide, she's not able to see me. Also, here's another thing I want to explain to you guys. A lot of you guys lean the wrong freaking way. It's so silly. So let's say I'm Doc right now, right? I'm trying to retake Penthouse. How do you think you should lean if you're swinging left? You think you should lean left, straight, or right? Comment down below right now. Let me know. Now, if you said right, you're wrong. If you said straight, you're wrong. If you said left, you're correct. The reason being is because when you're swinging, whatever way, whether it's right, left, etc., you want to be leaning that way, or you're going to get perspectived a lot more. Because let me show you. When I'm swinging right, what can Amaru see? My entire freaking body. What do I see? Literally nothing, because the camera's on my head. Now, even if I'm leaning straight, she can see my entire body, and I can only see her gun and hand. But I have to be super wide, and she's still able to see me. So me swinging left gives me that advantage to be in a 50-50 gunfight. Now, how would you take this gunfight? Are you going to be taking it close, far, or let's say medium? Let me know down in the comments. Personally, you can do either or in my opinion. But once again, when you're trying to retake site, you won't know Amaru's here because she is so like in such an aggressive pose. This is where you would want to crouch peek possibly and try to get that headshot, because a lot of players, when you get into higher ranking, they're really good players, so they're gonna be aiming head level. So when you're ready to peek, crouch, shoot his head. Crouch, shoot his head. Because that's when you mess up their crosshair placement and you have the advantage. You could swing wide if you want with a quick peek, and it's a 50-50 gunfight, but I feel like when you're doing more stuff like, you know, Shaiko peeking and whatnot, you could have that advantage more than anything because you see her entire head, and she can barely see your head unless she's holding, guess what? The close door frame, like I've been telling you guys that you should be peeking. But once again, top 1% of players will play like this all the time. The majority of players do not think about this stuff. Now here's another thing with perspective, especially using vertical play, because a lot of people have a hard time playing vertical play, and I understand because it's very uncomfortable and sometimes it can just be a pain in the butt. Let me show you, especially while using ACOG. So we all know the default strats of playing vert on kitchen. You want to make every piece of line of sight possible before actually attacking. But let's say we got this default spot right here, which is with mirror. How do you think you should peek these vertical holes? Do you think you should be directly on top and then basically have to flick up and down really close because you're using ACOG? Or do you think you should be holding at like maybe a weird angle, let's say to the right, or let's say left? Or do you think you should be trying to hold a very long angle? Well, this is one of those things that it all depends on information. Let's say you're blindly playing vertical, right? You're making all the lines of sight, trying to get everything done, make all the lines of sight for your teammates, and then you're finally done and you're ready to peek. Personally, how I would play it is I would be playing it at a far angle, just weaving in and out, just so I can actually get the information and I can react. Look on Mirror's screen. She has so many different beams and angles that she has to peek that it's almost impossible for her to be able to kill you. Like, look at where I see Mirror and how she doesn't see me right now, because that's basic perspective. Since she's at a lower angle, she is unable to see the things that I see because I'm at a higher angle and I'm hiding most of my body. Not until I actually push myself up, and as you can tell, boom. But if I keep myself back, she cannot see me basically. And if she does and she wins that gunfight, she's just the better player in that situation. Here's another thing that makes a lot of players uncomfortable. Repelling. A lot of players hate upside down repelling because it changes perspective, it changes a lot of things. So let's say that we're upside down repel, right? And we're trying to fight this mirror that is on the bomb chassis. We know that she's there. How do you think is the best way to play this? Should I go to down more wide? Or should I retreat just a little bit? Or do I play all the way up here? Well, if we know nobody's close and that we're peeking far, we can obviously just peek as much as we can until we see head level. Because as you can see, Mirror's gonna have to shoot the top right, and since we're using an ACOG, we have the advantage here. We can just tap her head, boom, 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 and then keep retreating all around the rappel. They have a little pixel compared to what you have. Now it's completely different when a player is, let's say, tucked right on this double door, because they have a more aggressive angle on you. But guess what? They don't have a great aggressive angle, because you don't have to expose your entire body down here like you would with the bomb chassis, since they're closer, because the angle is closer. We can literally just shoot her feet, and guess what? She won't see us. It will take Mirror to go all the way up here to actually see you, because if you can tell, her head is cut off on her perspective, because the camera, the way it's placed is between her eyes. She's not going to start seeing you until she gets really freaking close, or crouches, or prones, since that changed the perspective. But with proning, I think proning is one of the worst things you can do in Siege, because as you can tell, it changes your perspective again. Since you're lower onto the ground, you're going to see a lot less than what you think. Because I'm upside down, I have the height advantage once again. I'm able to see her entire body, hands, guns, etc. And this is just enough information I need to destroy her in a gunfight. Now, is there any situations where proning is good? Well, let's look at some examples. So let's say I'm Buck right now. I'm trying to like peek the angle on the bomb chassis. Someone is close reception and I didn't know that. I can even like try to go very close, hold like almost like a pixel, and I think that I'm safe on my left side, right? Well, that's not entirely true, because as you can tell, Mirror can shoot my entire hand here. She can actually swing a little bit wide here and shoot me in the head. The reason why is because the way that the camera is placed is right in the middle of the head. So you're only able to see that, what half your head sees. Because as you can tell, the door frame's here, this white area is here, and she's only able to see my entire freaking body because I'm laying down. People think just because you can't see your own legs that they can't see yours, but look at this. Look how much exposure you have on your body. So how should you prone? Well, the only time I personally like proning is when, let's say that the round is getting super hectic and it's like the last few seconds and it's a 2vx scenario, and let's say I have a teammate proned right here, and then I might have my teammate playing passive on the rotate for any type of indication that he's about to be in a gunfight. Then my teammate can swing, and if I die proned, then it's whatever, my teammate's there for refrag. Late round situations like that are good, but I'm not going to be over here trying to prone outside service entrance, trying to, you know, prone right here, trying to get a frag, because it's just such a dumb positioning. I see players get scared and then they prone, and it's just so freaking silly, man. Like there should be no reason why you're trying to prone. Now, if it's a Hail Mary type of situation where you need to prone and you just need to retreat to that, that's fine, but don't rely on it to get frags, because the majority of the time it is awful. Now, one more example of perspective is actually when you're repelling, which can be very good and can be very bad. So on window cells, when you're repelling and you're playing vertical, let's say you're trying to get the person that's bathroom because your teammates are giving you a comm for that. Now, sometimes it can be pretty good, because let's say you are Mirror right here and it's just you're peeking to a very light area. It's very hard to see this person unless they're in the middle of the window. Of course, you want to be as up as possible, maybe to the right or left. Shoot any legs that you can and retreat. Don't force yourself to try to get the frag and get greedy unless you have perspective like this. Because right here, Mirror is having a hard time seeing you until she gets like around this area right here. Now, here's a strat that I like to do when I'm playing penthouse site or even playing vertical and I'm trying to watch a flank, is right here for white stairs. That's because the amount of pressure that I can have just having this basic penthouse angle is so freaking good. Not penthouse, theater, my fault. So let's say Mirror tries to flank. Now, for some reason, since Buck's skin, this is Buck's head. I'm only able to see his head when I get right here, which at this moment, I have, let's say, perspective on them. Because as a defender right now, since he's holding such a long angle, he doesn't realize that the top of his head is exposed. Now, as mirror, I am closer to the roof than he is to that floor. So me having this basic perspective allows me, even though that he has a white headgear, I basically can't see him right here. But since I do know he's there, he is there. But I'm closer to this angle, so I'm more at the advantage for this gunfight. Now, if he was to play, let's say, a little bit more passive on the corner here, if I'm going up, let's say wide, this is kind of a more 50-50 gunfight. Because right here, we are both at the same closeness of the wall, basically, or of the floor, than before. Like, literally, as soon as each person hops on screen, it's basically over. Now, Buck does have the little slight advantage right here, and that's like a millisecond of reaction time. Like, he would have to really just react very, very quickly and have the perfect crosshair placement. And this is what I was saying about crosshair placement. Because a lot of people have, like, crosshair, let's say, right here. And if I'm mirror and I'm swinging forward bottom staircase, I can react right here and fry him, and he's going to have to flick down. And that just comes down to, does he have good reaction time compared to mirror? So basically, you want to be aware of how you're placing your crosshair and where you're placing it, because that really does matter in gunfights and playing vertical and perspective and everything. And this is why a lot of you guys suck, because you guys were so 1.5 made that you have no idea how to really use perspective, how to really use your gadgets, your body movement, the way you lean, etc. So you have to be completely aware of this. And this will take time to get used to, guys. But you have to realize that if you spend the majority of your round sprinting compared to the person that is taking slow angles and quick peeking really quickly and staying ADS, like, you guys are going to fall behind and just suck more and more. Because the person that plays passive, that plays their body, plays their utility, and plays the objective is going to win 10 times more than the old 1.5 warded mate. Luckily, we're getting into the age of new Siege, in my opinion, where players are a lot slower, and you don't want to be left behind, guys. So to sum this up, just be aware of how you're placing your crosshair when you're taking gunfights. For example, like, if I'm taking this, like bathroom right now, I'm gonna be quickly just in and out peeking everything, because I don't have any info, right? I can just go quick, boom, boom. I can clear every angle doing this, instead of a lot of you guys just running in, trying to psycho peek. You think it's clear, then you ADS again, then you ADS. So as you can tell, like, say I'm in sight, I have my crosshair close as hell to the door frame, and even with mirror, if mirror's aiming just like, let's say, pre-wide like this, I still have the advantage here, because one, her crosshair is so goddamn high, and I'm just ready for that instant boom. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure that you guys like, sub, and comment. I hope I explained this enough, and you guys hopefully get better. Besides that, guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and have a great day.